Hi and welcome to today's session. My name is Ezekiel and for today we'll be designing a calculator app using Figma. So stay tuned and learn how to use Figma to create designs. So go ahead and open your Figma app, and if you don't have one, download it on the browser and sign into your account. If you've already downloaded, so let's go ahead and create a file. Click on the new design file, give it time and let it load. So Figma provides a simple layout which helps you create various user interfaces, be it for desktop applications and also for Android, not for mobile. So for today we'll be creating one in a mobile format so that later on we can code and create the calculator app in Python and also do it in Dart and Flutter. Go ahead and click on this button. So this button is used to create frames. Click on the frame. Go ahead and on the right, select the size you'd like to use. In my case, I'll be using the Android large. So once you create, you can see it brings this up. So click on it. You can see its properties, its X and Y coordinates, and the color. So I already have my colors picked out. And I'll show you in a minute. So go ahead. I'm using the HTML color code. Then once you enter your custom color, you don't have to use the one I've used. You can use yours as a different one. Click on enter. So it displays a frame. I don't know whether this is too dark, but we'll use it as it is. So this is a base frame, so you need to start adding our buttons. So to add your button, you come and click on this shape. So basically, the widgets you add are either a frame, a shape, or text, or a freely drawn line. So we'll create a box. Let me give it a width and height of 80. So once you do that, on your right, once you click any item, be it this shape or the frame, it gives you the properties and you can actually edit them. So this represents the corner radius, which I'll change to 10. And you can see our corners are curved, are rounded. So we've already created our button, but our button needs some text. So go ahead and add your text. So the text, let's say the number will be 1. Let's start with 1. It's too small. So when you add your text, you can see you can edit it over here. Let's give it let me give it that 6. And you can use this to center. So this centers it horizontally and this centers it vertically. So go ahead and tap on your text, then move it around. When you move it around, you can actually see the orange lines that are formed. Once you are at the center, it should display something of the sort. As you can see, the number is placed well. So I'll go ahead and group them. How do I group? Click on control, then select the rectangle, which is our button, and the text. Then right click and click on group. You'll see later why we need to group. It makes our work easier. So once you group, I'll rename it to button 1. And let me select the color for our button. So I'll go ahead, change it to that. It actually looks dark. Then for the text, it will be color white. So you don't have to use the exact colors that I've used. You can use something different. And then after doing that, I'll just click on this. So once you click on it, it selects both items, so I can copy and paste. So click on it, copy, Control C, then Control V. I'll place this down here, change it. So whenever you select an item, you can see it is highlighted. So this is button 2. I'll double click, then double click again to change the text to 2, then this to 3. I might actually have to make this a bit smaller. Maybe 75. Okay, let me see. Let me see if this can fit. It actually can't. Let me change the x coordinate to 5. I think I'll actually reduce the height to 70, width and height to 75 by 75. So the main reason for designing is to actually have a rough idea, a good idea of what you actually want to build, meaning that on issues concerning the colors, the layout, these are the things that you should have figured out by the time you start coding to make it easier for you and make the development process a bit faster. If you end up start if you end up building a project without having a rough sketch, you'll end up going back and forth on issues that you should have already decided before you started building the project. And making changes on the design file is way easier making changes on compared to making changes on the actual app. So let me select them all so that I can move them. Okay, so this was button 4. We'll go ahead and put it here. Button 4. And so all you have to do is oh, this is actually 80, should be 75 by 75. So make sure they are aligned. So repeat the process. I'll fast forward this part so that you don't end up wasting a lot of time watching something over and over. So I've created these two buttons. One of the buttons should be I don't know what to call it, and the other should be for dividing. So if you're new to Figma, you can actually add icons. Icons are the pictures used in website or application, descriptive pictures instead of text. So in our case, click on this is the resources. Then you have components, plugins, and widgets. Click on the plugins. Search for flat icon. In my case, it's already there. So I'll click on it. And I'll search for delete icon. I can't find the exact one that I need. Yes, this one. Let me write backspace. So scroll until you find one that suits you. In my case, I think I'll use this. So once you click on the plus button, it should actually be displayed on your app, and you can see it has been displayed. So I'll first start by deleting the text inside. So once I click on the button, it's reflected on your left sidebar. So click on the text alone, then click on delete to remove. Then I'll go ahead and resize this. I'll resize it to maybe 50 by 50, since I need it to fit inside the button. Let's see whether it fits. It might actually be too big. It actually looks quite big. Let me make it 40 by 40. Not that bad. So as you can actually see, the color of our icon is black, whereas all our text is white. So how do I change the color of our icon? So I'll go ahead. So its size was 40 by 40. I'll go ahead and create another shape, 40, and give it the same dimensions, 40 by 40. Then I'll go ahead and give this rectangle the color I want our icon to have. In our case, we want white. So click on the color pane and select white. Once you're done, you need to drag this until it centers. You'll see something of the sort, the lines. Then go ahead on your left bar and select your rectangle, which is already selected, then your icon, which is called backspace. Then right click. You should see an option, use as mask. You can actually see the color changed. So I'll go ahead and I don't know what happened. So click on this mask group and locate our button, which was button 12. In your case, make sure you cross check. So I'll go ahead and drag this mask up to where I'll find the button. In my case, it's button 12, and put it inside the button. And it is centered. So other than that, you then have to look for the divide sign. So go back to the plugins, click on divide. Division, merge. Yes, you can see the options that come up. Look for one that's suitable. You don't have to choose the one I'll use. In my case, I'll go with this. So once you've added, repeat the same process. Let me first delete the text. It's text, delete it. Then resize this to 40 by 40 so that it has a favorable dimensions. Then go ahead and create a rectangle. Give it the same dimensions, 40 by 40. Then select the color you'd want it to have. Then drag your rectangle until it centers. That's good. Then click on both. Then use a mask. Sorry, the rectangle should be on top. So I'll just do that. So on your left pane, click on the rectangle and make sure it comes before your icon, the division. Then click on Control and select both items. Then right click and use as mask. You can see the color has changed. So go ahead and click your button. In my case, it's button 11. So you'll drag your mask group up to where your button is. So in my case, it's button 11. So I'll go ahead and drag it up to button 11. Make sure it's centered. Nice. What else am I remaining with? I don't like this font. I don't know whether I can change it. Let me see. So go ahead and select all text. You click on the drop down, then select your text. Yes, select all your text. And go ahead on the right sidebar, click on the inside the text section, you'll see the font family. Then go ahead and hover until you find one that you like. So once you're done, you continue adding the rest of the buttons. So we need to add a button number 0 here at the bottom. So let's go ahead, click on your rectangle. So we want it to have the same height as the rest. The height was 75. Then for the width, we want it to have the width of 2 widgets. So it's the width of 2 buttons plus the space in between. So the width is like 150, 160. And also don't forget what the corner radius, give it a value of 10. Go ahead and select all the buttons so that you can move them all up without changing their orientation and the spacing in between. So for each and every item that you create, it will actually be displayed here, the left. So I'll select all the buttons. And use the arrow buttons to take them up. I think that's enough. I'll take it up a bit more. Select all the buttons. hope that's enough. So after making it, I'll go ahead and change the color to our gray. So all the colors you've used will appear on this part. Then add our text. Our text will be a number 0. Number 0. So we need to group these two to form a button. Group selection. Then I'll rename it to button 0. So when grouping items, it's actually more preferable if you rename them to make it easier for you to locate it. Since, as you can see, I've given my buttons a descriptive name, meaning that if I want to move a specific one, I don't have to keep on looking in order to identify what representation it has on this side. I'll just click it directly. So when renaming your widgets, your buttons, you need to give it a descriptive name to make it easier for you or for anyone else who might be actually interested in looking at your design, to make it easier for them to actually work with your design. So we've added a number 0. What else should we add? We need to add a decimal mark and an equal sign. So I'll just click on any button, Control C, Control V, then drag it down here. Make sure it's centered. So as you can see, when you center it horizontally and vertically, there's a line that appears in between. Make sure that you see that. So I'll double click, then double click again, then add my dot. So after adding the dot, we still have the equal sign, the addition, subtraction, division, multiplication. Okay. So let's go ahead. I'll just paste the buttons, Control V. I'll put this one here. Just another one. So the same place we got our widgets, we look for the equal sign. Wait, let me check this. There we have it. And our addition. or minus. What else are we remaining with? This X doesn't look that good. Let's open the widgets, the flat icon. So you'll be looking for the multiplication icon instead of using the X. So you have some. So repeat the process. So we have this. You also need to look for the percentage. What else? Yes, I think only those. So repeat the process. Save it to 40 by 40. Create a rectangle. Give the same dimensions, 40 by 40. Give it the color you want your icon to have, in our case white. Then put it on top. Select both items, then use as mask. You can see the colors change. So I'll delete this X. So I'll add it to this button. What button is this? Button 18. So go ahead and move your mask group up to button 18. Then drag it to where the button is and make sure it's centered. No, why it's not centering. Okay, what else? Okay, Yes, for the percentage. So do the same, resize it to 40 by 40. Then create the rectangle. Again, resize it to 40 by 40. Center it on top. Select both items, then use a mask. There it is. It actually looks quite big. I think I'll have to resize it. It's too big. Maybe to 25 by 25. I guess we're done adding the buttons. The space left above is actually quite big, but when you'll be creating the app, it won't be this big. So I'm thinking of centering all the buttons. Okay, let me select all the buttons. So I want to move them a bit to the right so that the spacing on the ends look proportional. So once you've selected, you can use the arrow button to move it to the side. Take your time and move maybe a bit to the top so that the space left around the buttons looks even. Okay, nice. So we'll also change the color of our buttons, especially the equal sign, the plus. So let me select a color for them. Let me change something first. So on the first column to your right, this will represent the essential buttons. And so we'll give them a different color. Remember, you don't have to use the same colors as the ones I've used. You can change. So for my colors, I'm getting them from HTML color code. Go ahead and search for HTML color code on your browser. It actually gives you a platform for you to select and offers a wide variety of colors. I think I'll change the width to 35. And maybe center it. Also, this also looks quite too big. Nice. What else is remaining? So thank you for staying tuned. Thank you for watching the whole video. Make sure you comment and tell me what your favorite part is, in case you need further explanation. In case you have ideas that you'd like me to implement, go to the comment section and write your comment. For those who haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe and hit the share button. Share to all your friends who might be interested in this, and also click on the bell notification so that you'll be notified when I'll be releasing the next video. Remember that after designing our app, we'll now go forward and start the coding part, which will first study the Python for desktop application and finally end with Dart and Flutter for mobile application. Thank you for staying tuned, and let's meet on the next video. Goodbye.